Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our graduation cake topper. I've got all of my pieces cut out in front of me, as should you. And we're going to start by just putting together some of the simple paper piecing elements. We've got a little diploma here. These are going to go really quick. This is definitely one of those must-have bundles because, well, we've got 4 different cake toppers to span a variety of occasions, and I'm sure you'll encounter one at some point. So we're going to take the white piece here, which I did ink with a little bit of turquoise, and we're going to glue it to this AC ash color. This is American Crafts cardstock, ash being the actual color of the paper. Okay, so just like that, there's our beautiful little diploma. We're going to put a bow on it as well, and what I want to do is I'm going to take a dowel and place one of the little tails between my finger and the dowel, lift it up about almost 90 degrees, and then just run the dowel through. And that's going to give it a little bit of a curve. As you can see, it's no longer straight. Okay, then we're going to take some glue and just apply it to the actual bow itself, the little loops, and maybe just a little bit down the center, and just pop that right into place, right onto the little shadow element. Now, since this is red, I did ink this with a little bit of purple because red doesn't usually show up very well on red. Okay, now I've got the mortar board here, and it's made up of these 3 pieces. I've got the black piece here. This ash colored piece is pretty, well, it's pretty delicate, so I'm just going to do a series of little dots. Okay, and then make sure you get some on this little tassel here as well, all the way down to the end, and I would probably just hit this with my finger to thin out that glue so it doesn't come shooting out, because the glue really kind of has a tendency to blemish black cardstock pretty substantially, so we want to try to avoid that. Okay, so that should look like that. Just try to get that on as accurately as you can. Here we go. And then we have the little gold trim piece. It's going to go on top of the little tassel. Again, with this, you've got a lot of little detailed pieces here, so go easy with the glue, and if you need to, thin it out. And that's going to go right on top of that ash layer, like so. Okay. All right, so that's done. Now we have this piece here, there's 2 of them. One of them I inked and embossed. And you'll notice that there's a series of little score marks on here. That's also to help us with the alignment of the mortar board. But just to make this section 2 layers thick, you'll want to double it up. So we're just kind of gluing one to the other right on top of it. I did ink the other one on accident because I wasn't paying attention to the one that had the little score marks on it. But you don't need to ink both of them, okay? Now, your version of this product comes with every number under the sun, 0 through 9. Okay, so you can, well, cut out the ones that you need to. So class of, and then obviously you want to put in the year that they're graduating. More than likely this year will be 22, but again, this product will be good for a long, long time, because we've included every number. Okay, so we're going to take the gold layer and glue it on top of this blue layer that we've selected here. You can make it whatever colors you want, obviously, and the cool thing is, the great part about this is that you can make it based on the school colors. Okay, so that is definitely pretty neat. And I've seen a lot of cake toppers on Etsy, and they can be pretty expensive. And the cool thing is too, is that you can make it yourself. It doesn't take a lot of time because it's a pretty straightforward project. And you don't want to spend a ton of money on this sort of thing because, well, you're going to use it once and then it's going to go in the trash anyway, probably. So, all right, next we've got these 2 pieces. We need to glue this right on top of the white piece. Okay, so we've got a lot of little details here. So we're going to have to work pretty quick. I'm not expecting you to get glue on every single inch of this, obviously. That would be quite the accomplishment if you can do that, but I am working around the little circle, and then just kind of dropping a little bit here and there on the letters. Okay, and it's going on this white piece, so I'm not really worried about any glue squirting out. It can technically blemish it a little bit, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. And then just try to align it as accurately as you can. Press that down, and I'm very happy with that. I also inked this with a little bit of purple. It's hard to tell, so it may not even be necessary if you're doing it in red. Okay, that's that. And now we're going to take and glue this piece to the patterned paper. Okay, now there are 4 little markers here to help you get this centered. Right now I'm not too concerned about the orientation of this, but there are some markers here. One is to help you with the placement of the skewers, the others to help you with the placement of this piece, and then there's a little section here to help you with the placement of the numbers, okay, so that you don't have to guess. We couldn't do specific guides or markers for the numbers because, well, there's 99 different possibilities. But first of all, let's just get this glued down nice and centered and press that down. Now I'm gluing this onto a gold foil, which, as you know, isn't the most porous of mediums. So once you get it on there, don't let up too soon. And if you want, you can actually take it and just pop it underneath your mat and press down that way, especially because we're using foil. I don't want to get my hands and the glue all on there and blemish the gold foil, so just be careful with that. I think by this point it's probably not going anywhere. Yeah, it seems pretty stable now. So okay, now also on the back of this, we're gonna just kind of clean this up and make it look nice by putting this red piece on the back. Okay, so it doesn't look so plain on the back. I guess it's optional, but we're gonna do it anyway. I like to try to make it, you know, appealing from all angles. So just throw a little bit of glue on this little circle. And again, you can see the guides from the other side as well. So just use that to help you with centering. And there we go. And now the fun part. Like I said, we're done with most of the assembly. We just need to put it together now. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest here is take a look at the little markers here. You'll notice that there's like a little bit of a, well, there's some score marks going down here, and there's like an L. Let me see if I can fill this in a little bit. It'll be hidden, so I can write on this and it won't be the end of the world, I don't think. Yeah, that'll be hidden. Okay, so here, I'm just gonna fill this in. There's a little bit of, there's like a marker there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right about there and there. And that's where our skewer is gonna go. So we do wanna put that on first. Okay, so find 2 skewers. You're gonna roughly want this at about 5, the skewers are gonna be trimmed to about 5 inches, but I say, don't trim them yet. Just get them in place first and then figure out how deep they're gonna go into the cake, and then you can trim them as desired. So I'm not overly concerned about that. But for this, I would use hot glue. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and get the hot glue flowing just on one side of the hibachi stick, or a skewer, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then use that little guide there to help you place it. Just make sure that it's straight up and down. If it's a little bit curved, it's not the end of the world. Okay, let's grab our other one. And you know what, these things I realize they sometimes get kind of warped. They're not exactly straight and flat. So try to find skewers that are mostly flat if you can. Okay, and pop that one into place using that little marker. Make sure it's nice and straight up and down. There we go. Okay. So again, I'm going to trim these just a tad right now because they're obviously obnoxiously long. And I don't need them that long, but whoa, it just went flying off the table. Oh boy. All right, next up is, well, 2 things here. I do want to mention though, this right here, there's little markers here, and there's a vertical line. I can't draw it in right now, but you'll see it. That kind of helps you with the positioning of the numbers. Okay, and what I would recommend is actually using foam squares to adhere these to the main part of the topper, just in case you need to move it. Okay, and I think just one will do. Again, this is a very temporary sort of item, not going to be used for that long, and I think one will do just fine. Use the little marker there as your guide and just pop that into place. I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. Try to get them nice and even. Okay, so this is obviously class of 22, and that is not good. I need to move it over a little bit. You can mess with the spacing however you want, but again, use that little center line and try to keep the space between the two numbers equal. Okay, that's pretty good. Not exactly. Let me try this again. Here we go. Okay, that works. Okay, so next up is this layer here, and you can see these little markers here to the left and to the right of the skewers. Okay, when we put that in, that little marker is going to match up with this corner right here. And technically, we don't really need that. I mean, we do to a certain extent, because we can just use this white section here as kind of a guide, but it does help make sure that this point right here is centered. Okay, so we're going to flip this over, and we're going to start applying foam squares. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is you don't want to put any foam squares like right here where the skewers are. Okay, so focus here in the center and then work your way around. And I'm going to use large foam squares. Okay, so this one's going to go right in the center. I'm going to bring it up just a tad, and then I'm going to work some foam squares around the perimeter. I'm going to go up to the top here, and then down here, and then I can do one here, and one here. The skewer, let me make sure I got this right. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, just like that. And let me see here. Can put one more, maybe right about here, just to keep that pretty even. Let's make sure that it sits nice and flat. Okay, that looks good. My 2 is a little crooked, but I can literally just kind of adjust it a little bit. That's fine. Not the end of the world. So we'll peel these off and get this piece in place, and then just finish it off with the few little remaining elements, which we're also going to use some foam squares on. Okay, so again, don't forget that we have those little markers there to help you with the centering. And that looks good, I think. There we go. Beautiful. Awesome. And then from this angle, it looks great. It's covering it up nicely. All right, so next, we're going to take this layer here. This is also going to get some foam squares, and that's going to get popped center right on there. Now, don't forget to pay attention to this piece here and look for the little markers on here. There's one here, one here, one here. There should be one on the center towards the bottom, okay? And that's just gonna help us place the actual mortar board. So let's flip that over, and I think we can get away with probably just doing like a tripod configuration. I probably could have spaced that out better, but it's fine. These things pack a punch, and they will certainly hold everything in place nice and strong for you. Okay, let me find that little piece again. There it is. So it's going to go on like this. Again, making sure that it's nice and centered. Beautiful. Just like that. Okay. And then let's grab our mortar board. And as I mentioned, there's one little marker there. That's for the tip of the cap right there. And then you'll see another one over here and over here for these two tips. So let's flip this guy over and add our, I think I'm going to do 2 here. I'll do one there, and I'll do another one there. I'm not even going to bother putting anything on the tassel because it's so thin. I don't think we're gonna have any issues with it drooping or bending or anything like that. So let's get that nice and centered using those markers. Now once you start to place this down, you'll see that the tips of the mortar board actually match up with those little markers. So that's perfect. And then last but not least, we have our little mortar board. I think this one calls for probably a smaller set of foam squares. I think 2 will do. Pop that off. And then we're just going to eyeball this. You can see where the mortar board kind of meets, well, it kind of dips into the bow. Just pop that like right under it, nice and centered. And there you have it. Okay, beautiful. How cool is that? And the back looks nice too. There it is, ready to go, bam, right into the cake. So my cakes are actually in the fridge right now, so you won't see this in the cake until I actually take the photos for the website, so look for that. But I do have some bling here that I'm going to add. I'm going to add some on the stars here. We're going to add one here, and then I'm going to add one here, and I think that'll do it. You can dress it up however you'd like. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please take a moment and visit our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. And if you make this or anything from our cake topper bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom. So happy cake topper making. I've got 4 cakes that I'm gonna have to do something with by the time this is all said and done, so wish me luck there. But either way, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.